Okay, so we have our second part of the session tonight. I'm welcoming the Weymouth CPAC, yay Weymouth, who are going to help us understand a little bit of how do you present a budget and talk about budget to the people who can give you money. So take it away. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. Because our CPAC relies heavily or fully on our 501c3, we don't actually talk about budget, but what we did come up with was 5 tips on how CPAC can impact the budget, meaning the town budget. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see this okay when I share it.
Looking good. You just have to make it a little bigger.
Yeah, we can see it, but it's just literally
There we go.
blurry.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Yes.
And everybody can put yourselves on mute. That'd be great, except for the speakers. Yeah.
I'm gonna move this. Okay, so we came up with 5 ways CPAC can impact the budget, and obviously the first one was know your players. Many district leaders enjoy explaining what they do. I'm not going to read this word by word, but our budget folks really enjoy explaining the budget. They enjoy like talking to people about it. They want people to be involved because right now we're in such a world where engagement is such a priority. They want it from all stakeholders. For larger districts, they do what's called a budget book. I actually have ours right here. And these are typically public. So you can go to your district and say, I'd like to see the budget book. And it breaks down everything. It will break down for big districts, it will break down every single school's budget, what they're asking for, what they used last year in funds, if they have like a parent council, what that brought in. It just breaks down everything, what they need in capital improvements. It's like the Bible of the budget. And I think it's a really helpful tool to get to learn how the budget process works too. I just need to move this. Number 2 is attend meetings and give input. Budget meetings are a great time to come in and learn. And also they're very, for Weymouths anyways, they're a very laid back meeting. They're not as strict as the school committee meeting. They're kind of got a more open form. You can kind of ask questions. It's not like a public comment thing. Like it's a very laid back conversation in the budget meetings. John, I'm on a call.
Yeah, but where's the phone?
Also, and I did put a little blurb in there. School committee meetings are also public. We highly encourage stakeholders to comment on the budget and take part in important conversations facing districts. Number 3, educate yourself on key terms. I'm going to minimize, so I'm not going to be able to see you guys, but educate yourself on key terms impacting budget. Budgets are typically broken down into 4 funding sources: the town or city funding, Chapter 70, which I put the definition to Chapter 70 below, grants. So there's federal grants, there's Title 1, 2, 3, and 4 grants, the IDEA grants, ECSE, state, and CFCE, and McKinney-Vento. For those that don't know, McKinney-Vento is those students that are in a homeless status, and they do get grant funding for them. And then there's revolving accounts. So anything that brings money in, so like school food services, so like lunch. Did you have a question? CTE and adult education. A lot of high schools have programs that will do like a night school or like a GED that brings money in. Ask the questions. Where does that money go afterwards? What is it paying just for the teacher? Is it paying for materials? Paid preschool or childcare programs, and high school parking. So if you have a school that charges for high school, that's money in. And where is that money going? Another key term is the needs list. This is basically where everybody asks for anything they want. So the schools, each school will come in and present their needs list. And this could be parking lot improvements. This could be extra paraprofessional staff, an extra gym teacher for whatever reason, and it could be supplies. We heavily keep an eye on our needs list because that shows how we're supporting a lot of things throughout the district. So we know everywhere is really struggling with special education staff. A lot of extras, not what's already in the budget, is going to go on the needs list. So if we see that there's, you know, a one-to-one para that's needed at one of our schools, you know, why is that in the needs list? Why isn't it not getting into the budget? And then that's just the definition of chapter 70. This link right here, I don't know if I can, if someone can put that in the chat, that'd be great. This will give you a breakdown of what your district receives in funds. And it really shows what students get per pupil spending. And it really shows how funding really works. Number 4, how did COVID impact the budget? There was 2 things that came out of COVID from the federal government and the state government on funding. One was called the ESSER grant, and that was a federal program administered by the Department of Education in response to the pandemic. Now, one of their major rules of them using this type of funding was that they were to reach out to every stakeholder on how this funding should work. That means everybody. That means special education. That means any underserved populations. That means teachers. That means every person that was in your district should have been able to give input on how that money should be used. And on the other end, your town received ARPA funds. This was similar to ESSER. ESSER was school, ARPA was town. It was the same though. They were to ask every stakeholder for their input on how this money should be used. We in Weymouth are struggling with getting documentation on what those funds have been used for, because there was many cycles to these grants. I highly recommend any district to reach out and say, hey, where did this money go? Because it should have, a portion of that should have gone to special education, and we should be able to see where that money went. Kim, do you want to take over number 5?
Yes, and I think this is, I'm so happy we have this on here because I think it really kind of illustrates a lot about what we were kind of talking about as we kind of bridged into our presentation tonight. And it's just like the consistency in doing these things, and this is how Weymouth has really developed this great relationship with our school committee, with our administration, is that we're consistent. We're consistent. We're holding ourselves accountable. We're holding people accountable. We're showing understanding of what's going on. And specifically, we're not just there when someone rings that special education bell. We're showing up for budget meetings. We're showing up at school committee. We're presenting we do present on public comment frequently. So when we speak, it's not just we're one of 10 upset parents that evening who have spoken. These are this group of parents are continually speaking up for the whole population, and not just when something happens. It shows your investment in your community, not just your specific child, your specific issue. And I think, I really see this because we've been on budget, and they're doing sound checks, and they're like, hey, CPAC, can you give us a thumbs up? It's because we're there all the time. We've been sitting in school committee meetings, and they've actually paused and asked us questions. And it's not because we're there once in a blue moon. We're just consistently showing up for our students, and not just when there's a hot issue. We're present. We're making sure we're educated on what's going on consistently.
And I think just with the accountability part, by us showing up, they also know that we're going to hold them accountable to anything that, you know, is going to impact our students. And I think that's a really important piece, is that, and we're respected. We're respected because we are showing our commitment to our town and our districts. And I think I don't think I would be sitting on school committee filling a vacancy had I not showed I was consistently for the district, not just for my student. And I think that goes a long way. I'm gonna stop sharing.
And if anybody was hoping we were going to speak about our own budget, we kind of shifted, I guess. We highly recommend getting your 501c3.
So
It's
thank you so
short-term
much.
pain, long-term gain.
So thanks so much.
And we will answer questions about that if you'd like.
I think this is better, a better presentation around the advisory role of the CPAC.
Yeah.
And so this is where my experts are leading us in the right direction. So just to let everyone know, I'm going to stop recording at this point and we're going to take some questions.